Welcome to Share Spotlight. I'd like to welcome Martin Boddy. He is the Executive Chairman of Jaywing. Martin, welcome to Share Spotlight.
Hi, good to be here.
Good, thank you for coming along. Could you give us a brief outline of Jaywing and what the business proposition is?
Yeah, well, Jaywing's a data science-led agency and consulting business. We've got a marketing technology division and the beginnings of an international footprint. We're headquartered in Sheffield, in Yorkshire, which is a Yorkshireman I'm very proud of. We've got offices there in Leeds, in Newbury, Swindon, small team in London, small team in Sydney and Australia. We employ about 650 people, but the thing that really makes us different is that 1 in 10 of those people is an experienced data scientist. So that's our real USP. In terms of the agency, then it's got 2 key propositions. Performance-led marketing, where clients rely on us to drive their sales line through either search marketing, programmatic display advertising, or email marketing. And then brand-led advertising, and that's where clients like Pepsi or Castrol, where they once used to advertise on TV, they've now moved over to creating personalised content on social channels to target specific audiences, and we do all that kind of work. Our consulting business, the strapline is we do smart things with data, and we do that from a marketing sense, but also in a risk sense. Our marketing practice, well, we merge on and offline data. We help clients build and execute very highly personalised customer experiences. We help them then understand their customers, understand the performance of what are increasingly ever sophisticated marketing activities. So that's a really interesting area, and it's one that's becoming more and more technologically advanced, with the use of artificial intelligence now driving some of those work. In terms of the risk practice, then we work with a lot of the lenders in the UK and some international lenders to develop statistical models to help them comply with regulation. For example, how much capital do they have to hold? Really specialist field. And it's one which delivers for us a very high margin. And then we've got our technology division, which is called Jaywing Intelligence. It uses really sort of cutting edge technology, artificial intelligence, which I mentioned, but also virtual reality in terms of data visualization. And we really in that do help clients sort of get greater insight into their customers, into different sort of issues, but also bring automation with that, sometimes saving automation. So the applications of that are anything from crisis management in a PR sense to bidding for search terms on a really sophisticated basis.
Are you then, I know you call yourself a marketing services business, but are you more a technology business now?
We're a real interesting blend, actually. I call it a data science-led business. So, but we have got very much a tech element. So at one level, we're a pure play tech business doing some really exciting things. But at the other level, we are an established and growing digital marketing business.
You mentioned that 1 in 10 is a data scientist. From a technology point of view, did you have numbers around that? Is it like 10% of your business is also technology people, IT and technology?
We'd have a fair few. I don't think it would be 10%. But in terms of our tech business, I mean, that's only really been created in the last 12 months. So it's still a relatively small team. It has got a lot of lovely sort of startup kind of culture which you need, but growing, yes.
In New York, in Sheffield, obviously.
Well, it's actually in Leeds.
That's in Leeds. That's that part
of the business.
Even better. Obviously, your business is growing quite fast, and you have been making some acquisitions. Your latest one was called Head Office. And what are your plans for 2018? Is it more acquisitions, or are you targeting organic growth, or a bit of both?
Well, the truth is we're pushing hard at both. I think in terms of organic, then obviously with the sort of economic climate that we've got at the moment, achieving high levels of organic growth is going to be pretty challenging in the short term. That's not to say it's impossible, particularly with our sort of collaborative operating model where we try and cross-sell, and we've been more successful in cross-selling than most of our peer group. But acquisitions are going to be important, and I think really, if you look at us as a business, then it's a great business. We've got some great people within it, good team. But yet we're a relatively small business on AIM. So acquisitions for us are going to be important in really creating a step change in our market capitalisation, which will hopefully lead then to more liquidity in our stock, which I hope again will lead to a rating more commensurate with a data science business, which is a high quality income stream. And we're putting a lot of energy into M&A activity at the minute. We've got a full-time member of our executive team who's dedicated to that. And what I find really interesting is how our approach differs to that of many others. For those who follow marketing services groups, quite often they've been formed through large buy and build strategies, where I've never really seen the benefit. Why would an entrepreneurial-led business over here be more valuable as part of a larger group over here? And for us, so we have a different approach, and our approach is very much we aren't the place people come to exit their businesses. What we offer to people is come and join us. We can bring some additional skills and resources to help your business grow more quickly. You'll get some money up front and a little bit along the way, but you'll maintain a stake, and that stake will hopefully be more valuable than what you've got initially. So there's a good continuous model there. The second thing is we don't generally buy businesses that are for sale. We look at businesses, we get to know them, we then persuade the owners of those businesses over lots of beer and wine and whatever else to look about coming to join Jaywing. And that's really important because you get a very, very different type of business than the ones that are just coming across the desk from the M&A consultants all the time.
Because you don't do after 2 years the earn out, you don't want them to leave. You
Exactly.
want them to stay and grow the business with you, I suppose.
Exactly, and particularly if that's in a different territory. Yeah. And then really, the third thing about us is just the way we kind of structure our deals, yeah, compared to perhaps a lot of those typical buy and build strategies. So, I do think it's going to be important for us. At the moment, there's some interesting opportunities we're progressing. So, keep your eyes peeled and
see what happens over the next few months.
Yeah.
You briefly mentioned the word territory, and of course, you have got an international presence now. Are you looking to build on that and bring the JWNG brand to other countries? I know you're in Australia now, aren't you?
Yes. Well, we are, and Australia's been fantastic. We acquired a business over there, Digital Massive, in 2016. That's a great story because they're a search marketing business. We do a lot of search marketing in the UK through our Epiphany brand, so we've got a lot of expertise there. But the UK is a very competitive market. If you go to Australia, it's a much less competitive market. The adoption of sort of digital media is somewhat behind the UK. It's growing fast, but there just isn't that competitive environment of agencies. So what we've been able to do there, by the JWNG brand over there, by adding some of the expertise from the UK into that business has just really taken off. And it's been a great example of what we can do. So I do think other territories are going to be important. And I think it's important just to keep this balance really, because we have got most of our business in the UK, which at one time would have been the best news. But as perhaps spend softened in the UK, it would be nice to have other territories to sort of just manage that really. So we're exposed to growth in lots of different areas, not rather than just one territory.
But less mature, a bit like Australia. You wouldn't probably go into the US, which is a very mature marketplace, more immature markets, as you say, like Australia maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Australia is it's very easy to do business in. We know lots of people there, but Asia Pacific region is interesting to us. The US is interesting, but in the right way. I think that's you need to do something of scale there to get a decent footprint. And for us, acquisitions are all going to be about, if we acquire something in the UK, it's because they do something that we currently don't do very much of. Yeah. So it's very complementary, and therefore we can cross-sell it into the rest of our customer base. If we do something overseas, then it's going to be something we're really good at in the UK, and therefore, we know what we're getting into. It reduces the risk of that, but also, hopefully, because the UK tends to be ahead of those other markets, we can then take some of the skills and resources from the UK and help to differentiate that business in whatever territory.
As you did in Australia, I think you've
Yes.
taken some of your businesses into Australia,
Yes.
haven't you?
Yes.
Looking from a shareholder's point of view, obviously, you've got growth, and you've obviously got contracted growth coming into the business as well, which is good to see. What's your policy on income and for a shareholder such as dividends? Have you got a potential dividend policy coming in, do you think?
Yeah, well, at our last annual set of report and accounts, we actually announced that we want to introduce a progressive dividend policy. And the reason for that is, well, it's twofold. One, I mean, from my own perspective, you know, I think it's really important that you pay a dividend, because that's what successful companies do, or most successful companies do. And I think it's a really good financial discipline to do that. The other thing, though, is, you know, I want all our stakeholders to sort of stay involved, stay engaged, you know, whether it be staff, clients, but also investors. And for me, dividend is a way of keeping those investors to stay on our journey.
So obviously they've got the growth out of the share price, but nice to see income coming in to lock them in a little bit
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
And this final question really is, you know, for a potential investor, what do you think makes Jaywing a compelling investment?
Well, I think as we probably all know, data is having an increasing impact on our personal lives, on our business activity. And I was reading the other day from an academic, they're saying that actually data is the world's biggest resource now. And so for an investor, I think Jaywing offers a really interesting opportunity to get involved in data science, which is where it's sort of really happening, how you exploit that big data resource in the world. And I think it's in an area which is in sort of digital marketing world, which is sort of dynamic, vibrant and growing, and set to grow, continue to grow. It's grown rapidly over the last sort of decade, but there's plenty more growth to come if you look at all the reports from eMarketer, etc. And I think really you've got this lovely balance between a sort of a pure play tech business underpinned by an established and growing sort of services and consulting business. And I think that's a really nice mix, rather than exposing yourself you know, to the risk involved in pure play tech, you know. And then finally, you know, we've got, you know, it's a great business, it's a great team, you know, it's an ambitious team, very talented, yeah, and very committed. And I think that team, you know, is there to back, and we're very focused on delivering bottom line growth. That's what we get out of bed in the morning to do.
Martin, thank you very much for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you'd like to find out more information about Jaywing PLC, do go to the Shares Magazine website at www.sharesmagazine.co.uk.